Hi there, my name is Pendegrass, and I've been here at Grace all 4 years. I go to Millbrook High School as well, and I'm planning on attending Belmont University next year for my college. As far as my high school experience goes, as a freshman, I didn't really get the goals that I wanted. I was really stoked about trying out for sports and being on those kind of teams. I wanted to be the basketball team, get a scholarship to a school, but God very quickly changed my mind about that. He told me that, or he showed me rather, I got cut from the basketball team, and instead I found myself going into the arts programs and stuff like that. I began to be a really good musician, and I was a singer, and I began being in musicals and doing all that kind of stuff, and that's where I really started to find acceptance. But as far as my freshman and sophomore year, I really wasn't the norm kind of kid. I didn't really go out and party, and I didn't do all the kind of stuff that a typical high school kid is expected to do. As a result, I kind of didn't find acceptance. I didn't have friends that, I didn't think I had friends at least. I had a lot of older kids that kind of understood what I was trying to do, but towards the end of my sophomore year, they were all gone. Like my brother, my role model, who was a big influence on my life and where it was, he'd gone off to college. And so when junior year hit, it was a lot of things hit me at the same time. I had grades, there was things at home, and there was my brother wasn't there to help me with any of it, and I didn't have a strong set of friends because I'd never really participated as much as I should have in things like Grace's youth group or things like that. I was a big part of the worship team and everything, but I never really found a community sense in anything that I was in up to that point. So when junior year hit, I really started looking for a place where I could find a God-centered community. And I found that at Grace in the worship band, and I also found that in Young Life a lot. I went to the things, went to all the events. I went Thursday nights to the club. I went to Young Life Club, not to the club, but I went to Campaigners, which was a Bible study, and then as senior year hit, I went to an even deeper discipleship Bible study. And so that's where I found acceptance, and I began to walk with Christian people. But I still had a lot of issues. When I was in the junior year summer, I went to a place called Governor School. I went, and it's 5 weeks long, and it was really, I lost my perspective as to what I was supposed to be. I didn't touch a Bible for that whole summer probably. I didn't pray a lot. I had all these people around me that I knew I was going to know for 5 weeks, and I would be done with them. But it's the way that it was shaped and the way that it's so short-lived, it was live in the moment, have fun, do whatever you want. It's this is your time. If you want to do something, do it. Change the world or do whatever. But I realized after I'd gone that there were so many temptations. There was girls that were there for 5-week relationships that I could have had a relationship with for 5 weeks or something like that. But when I got towards the end of it, I had a lunch with my Young Life leader, and he made me realize, is that really what I want? Is that really something that is for the glory of God? And I really started to think maybe living in the moment for things that are only short-lived isn't the way I'm supposed to live, which I never really thought about before. I mean, I'd always thought living in the moment for things like doing drugs and alcohol wasn't the right way to do it, but I've never thought of it in a way that's just your everyday thing. Should everything be for the glory of God is what I really asked myself. And so instead I thought about living in the moment for the things that are long-lasting and eternal kind of things. Even though this is a fun thing, does it still work for the glory of God? And so that was a really big step for me in my faith and that kind of thing. And I really began to find acceptance with people because of the fact that I stayed pure to my faith. I tried to be a good Christian. I tried to do everything right. What I've really realized in high school is that my entire high school was sort of a building of a foundation for my faith, per se. A lot of people probably, or the way I see it, a lot of people think of me as a strong Christian. I hope they do. But even as strong as I try to be in my faith, I really haven't gotten to a point where I'm strong enough in my foundation of my faith, where I really get the concepts of faith is all centered around God's love. And that's my foundation. That's the cornerstone of what every Christian's life should be. But beyond that, when I've started to realize that you have a spirit inside of you that listens to what God is saying. It's not necessarily what you hear in the church service. It's how God uses it to impact your life. And so what I've really started to do in the last couple of years is just understand the intricacies of Christianity and like how strong your faith can be and what it means to be living for God. And like I used to go to church and hear all the stories. Like I would hear the prodigal son story, and I would say, like, that's a pretty cool story. Like I understand how that could relate to Christianity, but I never really gave it credence, and I never really was like, okay, this is how I should be living my life. I should think about these kind of things. But throughout this last year especially, I've really begun to understand God, and I've really seen what God is here for and why God is in them, or why God should be glorified.
Okay.